What's good, YouTube? It's Sir Rome of Raw Raw, and I'm just gonna jump right into this Dahmer TV show that I just watched. Um, I'm gonna start with some critiques I have for the show, and then I'm gonna get into my likes and my dislikes. I'm gonna, put the dislikes and the critiques in two different spots because the critiques is more about like who made the show and why they made it this way, and then my dislikes will be more about stuff that actually happened in the show. So I'm gonna jump right into my critiques and say, why? Why did somebody choose to make this show? And kind of like try to romanticize somebody like Dahmer. Like, I don't understand why y'all were trying to get us to feel bad for this dude. I don't understand why y'all were trying to get us to like understand where he was coming from, because at the end of the day this dude is like a legit monster. He did a lot of like really messed up stuff, and I don't know why you would try to get people to relate. Like, there's scenes, excuse me, where like he'll do some messed up stuff, and then in the next episode, they'll go back and be like, yeah, but when he was a kid, his mom treated him this way, and his dad didn't pay a lot of attention to him, and kids bullied him in school, so you should understand like why he ended up the way he did. And it's like, no, bro, we don't need that. Like, I get it, you're trying to make a good TV show, and it's not really based off of like facts or anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's more of like a loose story told about Jeffrey Dahmer. But that's my whole issue, is like, why did you choose to tell a story in a way where it's like, oh, he's not a bad guy, he's just the antagonist of this show. Like, no, this nigga is horrible. And I learned about him in school, and I knew he was horrible, and I've never heard anybody say anything good about Jeffrey Dahmer. And now suddenly it's like, everybody has this different outlook on him because of this show. I don't like that y'all chose to do that. And the real reason it bothered me is, like I said, that you made him relatable. And there's people out in this world that's gonna be like, my parents didn't really pay attention to me, and people bullied me, and I always felt alone too. So maybe I'll do this too. Not maybe not to the same extent, but it's like I don't want to really say this on YouTube or anything, but it's like, it's like a school shooter. Like, one person did it, and then a bunch of people did it behind them, and it's like, I feel like that's what this can lead to when a show gets this big and this popular. And it's got somebody like Evan Peters playing the role of the antagonist. And sorry, I gotta let my chair back up. Playing the role of the antagonist, and it's just like, it's really a slippery slope you're going down, because people like this dude, people like Evan Peters, and people like, everybody likes the bad guy when they're not that bad. And that's what it seems like y'all were trying to do in this show. Like, one second you'll be like, oh, he's sick, he did this, and then the next second you'll be like, yeah, but you remember, that one time when he wanted friends and nobody would be his friend. That one time when he was funny in school, and the kids treated him like shit. And it's like, no, bro, that is not how you write the story for a serial killer. That is more the story you would write for somebody in a Marvel comic book that ends up turning bad, like, I don't know, a Spider-Man movie. That's how you make a villain in that case, not a serial killer. Like, this nigga is fucked in the head, and y'all like try to make him relatable, and I don't agree with that. And I hopefully y'all understand what I'm trying to say by that, because that is not, they shouldn't have done it that way. Like, and my whole thing is like, I'm one of the people that's like, I love a villain. I love a good villain. Like Thanos, for example. Thanos is messed up in his head too. You know what I'm saying? And he killed a lot of people too. But at the end of the day, he had a goal that he thought would make the universe better in the long run, right? He had a goal that he thought would make things better. What was Dahmer's goal? Can anybody tell me? Oh yeah, just to just fucking kill people, innocent people, young kids, people, just black minorities and homosexuals, and he just killing these people. Like, they're not doing nothing wrong to him, they're not mistreating him. Okay, you felt alone as a kid, yet here you are killing people that are trying to be around you. It's like, what the fuck? Nobody should feel bad for this dude. There should be no episode where it's like, yeah, but okay, so that's my critiques. If y'all didn't understand, sorry, but I had to get that off my chest because I was watching this, and everybody was like, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. And I watched the first couple episodes, and I was like, what is this? I'm thinking this about to be some crazy, scary movie type deal where it's like a bunch of gruesome kills, like Saw or something. But no, it's not that. It's more like a suspenseful TV show, which you did a very good job at that, and I'll get to that in my likes. But it's more like a suspenseful TV show and like a drama, if anything. And I don't appreciate y'all doing that for somebody as sick as this individual. Dahmer is a sicko. One of the sickest. He ate people. He dismembered their bodies. He put, acid in people's brain, drilled holes in their heads. He saved their skulls as, trophies. And he was sick. He was one of those, like one of the sickest. There's only a few people I learned about because I was in a class where we had to do like a research paper on serial killers, and there's only a few of them I learned about that were as bad as Dahmer. Like, he is one of the worst. Like, he is that guy. So fuck all that make him seem good shit. Sorry if my rant was too long, for my critiques. But okay, I'm gonna get into my likes and my dislikes now, and I'm gonna start with my likes, which is the sauce. And I call it the sauce because, if you got any type of good food, you don't want to eat it dry. Normally, you need some kind of sauce. It could be something as simple as honey mustard barbecue, or it could be Alfredo sauce or spaghetti sauce. You need that sauce. So that will be my likes. And my likes for this movie, I got some likes. You wouldn't think I would, by the way I just talked about my critiques, but yeah, I got some likes. My first like would be the acting. They had really good actors in this show. Evan Peters was the star of the show. Did a very good job playing Dahmer, even though I don't think Dahmer would be like the hardest character to play, because it's not like, I don't know. He did a good job. Let's just say that. The neighbor in the show was like the best character by far, so that's my second like. Clearly the best character. She you know what I'm saying, she didn't even lose any family members, but she cared about the victims more than anybody else in the show, or at least that's how it feels the way they show it, they portray it. Like, she is legit like a great character. Like, she's the person you're rooting for. You feel bad for her because she's going through all this PTSD over it, and she's the one fighting for them even after they're dead and gone. She's still the one fighting, to get a memorial for them, and just for people to just look at the victims. Stop worrying about Dahmer so much and look at what this dude did to people. And I feel like her in this instance with my critiques. I feel like, man, people are romanticizing this dude. What about all the people he killed? You know what I'm saying? So I'm with her on it. She was a great character in this movie. I mean, this show. Also, another like for me would be, I guess I'll say the dad, which I think he's the actor from Step Brothers who played their dad in that movie. But yeah, the dad, he was decent. He ain't a great dad. He's not the worst dad in the world, but he cared about his son a lot. And I felt bad for him in scenes because it's like he really did try to get this dude on the right track. Like, he paid for him to go to Ohio State. He sent them all to the army. Like, he was trying his best to get this man in the right space. And Dahmer just wasn't. He just wasn't good. He just wasn't a good person. And the other character I like would be the grandma, because even when the dad gave up on him and everybody else gave up on him, she was still there for him, which is what you expect out of grandmas. But she was a good, she's a really good character. And there was a scene when I thought he was gonna kill her, and you want to talk about pissed off. I was literally like, if he does this, I'm not finishing this fucking show. Like, don't even try that bullshit with me, bro. Dude, ain't no way you finna tell me he gonna kill the one person that stuck around when everybody else gave up on him. But thankfully he didn't, so that was good. Another like for me would be that they had all of the characters that died. They had them all at the end of the show. Like, they showed each one's age. They showed what year they died, and pictures of them. And even though it was like a loosely based story, they still had the real people at the end. So I'm like, mad respect for that, because y'all told a fake story. If you ask me, I don't think that's really how it went. And y'all try to romanticize it and shit, but at least at the very end of the day, y'all said rest in peace to all the people who actually died from Jeffrey Dahmer's crazy ass ideas. So yeah, that's most of my likes. Yeah, I think that'll do it for my likes. Now I'm gonna get into my dislikes. All right, before I get into my dislikes, I am going to take a shot. And I just like to say, I've never had this before. It's Smirnoff Orange or something like that. But as much as Jeffrey Dahmer drank in this movie, I figured I'd take one. I don't know if y'all can see or not, but it's like a little cool little Halloween shot glass. So, ooh, woo. Okay, let's get into these dislikes. I call my dislikes the trash pile. And I have a lot of dislikes in this show, just like I had a lot of critiques. So I'll jump right in. My first dislike is the mom in this show. And I wanted to put this in my critique, but I also felt like I should put it in my dislike. So here we go. She is the worst character in the show. And I mean that. She's worse than Jeffrey Dahmer. She's bad. I mean, when he was a kid, She paid him no attention. There's not a single scene where she even like talked to him. Like she literally acted like he didn't exist. And I didn't understand why they would do that. That's why I said it could have been a critique, because it's like, why would you make the mom so horrible in this? Why would you make it to where she literally didn't care at all about him? And then, the other kid she had, I think his name was David or something, she had all the love for him. And that's another reason why I would say it should be a critique, because it's like, y'all made the mom so bad. It's like, yeah, his mom was terrible. So that's why he was like this. And it's like, no, don't do that. Make the mom at least a little bit normal, so that, it won't be like it's everybody else's fault besides his. It was his fault at the end of the day. He's a sick person. But yeah, the mom was just bad, man. She was on pills real bad. She was on pills when she was pregnant with him. She was just a bad parent, and she's always freaking out and yelling and cussing. And she left him when he was like 17 to go chase UFOs, and just literally just left him. And his dad didn't know he was left, so his dad never came around. And it's just weird, man. It's like, I don't know. She's a very horrible character. She didn't have any redeeming qualities except, when she tried to kill herself. I'm sorry that I even said that on YouTube. But that was the best part about her. I was like, yeah, I don't care if you do that, because you're not a good person, and you don't even care about your son. And then once he did all of this, you changed your last name. Like, you tried to avoid the whole thing, like you weren't there, and it's not a good look. And then she tried to blame the dad, which he tried to blame her too. But it's like, you were horrible, like, lady. Like, yeah, the dad was bad, but you were horrible. Like, everybody should blame you. You sucked. But yeah, the mom was terrible in this show. She was terrible. Another dislike for me would be just how gullible all the characters were. I don't know if I'd call it a dislike or what I'd say about it, but and when somebody's being that pushy about you taking a drink, don't you have like those alarms that go off in your head? Your spidey senses telling you like, why does this dude want me to drink this so bad? Like, I don't think I'm good. And I know they're like saying like, oh yeah, they liked him, so they let it happen, and they were already drunk. But it's like, I don't know, man. He's a strange guy, and when strange people like him get pushy about stuff, I would avoid doing those things. Like, I've hung out with strange people before, but if a strange person starts saying, I made this sandwich for you, so please eat it. I'm not gonna eat it right now. Just eat the sandwich, please. Like, please. Like, I'm a butcher. I made this. Please eat it. Like, I'm not eating that sandwich, fam. Like, sorry, you it's weird. And in like at least 6 people fell for the same shit, and I'm just like, come on, y'all. Like, some of them I can understand, because one of them was like 14, and another guy is deaf, and there's some instances where it's like it would make sense, but no, it wouldn't be me. And yeah, so that's a dislike for me, because I just felt like, I don't know if that's really how he did it or not, but if it's not how he really did it, they could have found a better way to, make him seduce his victims. Which, like, they told us that he, like, when we learned about him, they told us that he, like, gave him stuff to mess him up, but they didn't, didn't specify like, oh, he slipped something in their drink. So I don't really know if that's true or not. But either way, if it wasn't, they could have done a better job with that. Another dislike for me would be the whole episode with the deaf guy. I mean, it's a great episode, but it's just fucked up. The guy who played the deaf dude did a great job with it, and he really made you like feel for him, and it's just messed up, man. Like, he was the one that was like really understanding to Dahmer, and they like seemed like they actually had like a real relationship going, where most of the time he just uses drugs to get people to stay around. But this dude was actually coming around and actually liked them, and he still went and did the bullshit. So it was, I don't know. Most of those shouldn't even be dislikes, but I just had to get that off my chest. But an actual dislike for me that's like strongly dislike is they didn't show like many of the kills at all. Like, they might have showed like 3 kills in the whole thing. They didn't show most of them. Like, they'll show him knock somebody out, and then the next time you see the person, they're dead. Or he did choke one person and kill him, which I'm like, that's the weakest way to kill somebody ever. Like, where's the gore? This dude is a serial killer. He was brutal. He was doing brutal things to people, and they weren't showing any of them. I'm thinking it's gonna be like the Saw movie, when people were talking about it all over social media, because they like, man, it's a messed up show, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking it's gonna be like Saw, but it's just more like, on the edge of your seat, like feeling uncomfortable, than it is like, oh, like I'm about to throw up, or I can't watch this, or it could have they could have done a lot more with the kills when you're basing it around somebody that's so sick. So yeah, I didn't like that they skipped out on a lot of the kills and we didn't get to see him. Um, let's see some more dislikes for me. Oh yeah, whew, I almost missed the biggest dislike of them all. The police in this movie, man. And I was getting mad every time the police showed up or were called or any of that. They were terrible. The police were terrible in this movie. And they kind of try to make you understand it because it's like, oh, it's the 80s. And they still treated black people like shit. And they still treated, homosexual people like shit. But it's like, at the end of the day, you're a police officer, bro. They call you over there. There's a kid. He's obviously a kid. He doesn't even look grown. He can't even talk. He can barely even walk. He's like, he can't even form sentences. He's so messed up. And y'all send him back in there with the person who messed him up like that. Like, come on, bro. I mean, I understand it's black people that called and y'all don't trust black people, but you got there and seen for yourself this dude was messed up, and you still sent him back up there because y'all being homophobic and y'all don't want to deal with it. And then you turn around, there's another scene where he pulls Dahmer over, and Dahmer drunk off his ass, ripped, bent, and oh dude, you're white, you know what I'm saying? You got the rest of your life ahead of you. So I'm just gonna give you a warning, man. Get home, dude. I don't want to like spoil your whole life on this, dude. Just make it home, all right? And Dahmer got a whole body in the trunk. Fuck out of here. The cops suck, bro. The cops sucked in this show. I'm telling y'all, the cops were so bad. They were so bad that after they let a kid die that they could have saved, they were horrible. Let me say one more thing they did that was horrible before I get into the worst part. But okay, they came into this dude's apartment. A black guy running down the street handcuffed. The dude tells him, this guy's trying to kill me, brings him back to the house. They come into the apartment, say, why does it smell like this? Maybe because the dude is trying to kill me has killed other people? But nah, they don't think that. They're like, oh, okay, well, where's your key? It's over there in the drawer. And the guy goes in the room where there's a dead body in the corner in a damn bin. Right there. He even looks at it like, ugh. And there's a big blood stain on the mattress. Like, come on, bro. How much more obvious could it be? And they still weren't on like high alert, like this dude's a killer, until they actually saw pictures of dead people in photos. That's when they finally decided, okay, maybe this dude's a killer. That shit had me so mad. That's the first episode, bro. Let that sink in. That's the first episode, man. These cops sucked. But not only that, they were so bad that the cops that got suspended for not doing their goddamn job end up winning Cops of the Year. The two guys that got suspended because they let a little kid get killed by Jeffrey Dahmer end up winning, Cop of the Year. And you want to talk about a pissed off motherfucker? This guy was pissed off. I hated them cops in the show. And not only that, but they were calling the Asian guy's dad. The Asian guy gets killed. That's the 14-year-old. They're calling his dad, calling him all kind of racist names, racist terms, and telling him to go back where he came from and all this. Like it's his fault that y'all didn't do y'all's job. What are y'all calling him for, bro? Y'all didn't do y'all job. He should be calling y'all every day on y'all's neck. But it's the other way around. I'm like, this is sick. Like, this is legit sick. I hated the cops. If their goal in this movie was to make you hate police officers, they did a damn good job. Because I hated the police in this movie. They sucked. There was only one police that was doing the right thing, and that was like the chief of police. And they didn't give a shit what he said in the end. They still voted them police of the year, so it was fucking stupid. But yeah, that was my biggest dislike for sure, was the police. They were horrible in this movie, man. But not only them, bro, like, oh man, the end of this movie really irked me because they tried to turn Dahmer into this guy that's saved and now he believes in Jesus Christ and everybody's happy for him. Like, he in prison for killing 13 people and they're over there patting him on the shoulder. Yeah, man, I'm happy for you. I'm so glad you're getting saved and blah, blah, blah. Man, fuck this nigga, bro. Bro, somebody shank this nigga. Somebody get him the fuck out of here, bro. He does not even deserve to be living, and y'all are treating him like he's a good human being, bro. Like, he doesn't deserve. I understand you Christian, as long as you repent for all your sins, you deserve to go to heaven. But I'm not gonna be the one to baptize you and get you there. It won't be me. I'm not gonna pat you on the shoulder. I'm not giving you a Bible. I'm not doing none of that, bro. You don't get no phone calls. You don't get to talk to your dad, bro. They treating this nigga like he's just a regular person that just committed some petty felony, you know what I'm saying, or some misdemeanor, and he in prison. No, nigga, you are the worst of the worst. You do not deserve to see anybody. You don't even deserve to be in, in the public of the jail with the rest of the people. No, bro. Put this nigga in solitary confinement. That's where he needs to be. They can give him some damn tape recorder. He listening to whale sounds to sleep. Fuck out of here, bro. That shit pissed me off, man. I hated that. I hated that about this show. They really treated him way too good in prison. And even when he got killed at the end, this is a lot of spoilers, but even when he got killed at the end, it was almost like they were trying to make the black dude the villain that was killing, the guy we cared about so much. And it's like, no, bro. Thank God this nigga is dead. He should have gotten a worse death than that. He should have gotten tortured, because that's what he was doing. And I don't appreciate the way they handled all of that. But either way, get to a couple more likes I had that I forgot to mention. I like that they brought up other serial killers, which was kind of my point earlier. But anyways, they brought up other serial killers. I think it was Ed Gein and John Wayne Gacy. I think that's the two they brought up. And I learned about both of them in my class too when I was learning about serial killers. Well, I didn't learn about them, but people have research papers. You got to stand up in front of the class and present your paper, and then you hear about these people, and you're like, oh my God. And I think I did my research paper on Albert Fish, I think was his name. Another real deal fucking sicko guy. But yeah. So either way, I like that they brought in other serial killers and kind of like let it be known that, like, these things were happening like kind of close to each other. And it kind of, like I said earlier, it kind of reminds me of the school, you know what I'm saying? Kind of reminds me of that in a way, because it's like, it happened with Columbine, and then, it almost seemed like those guys got popular for it, and then, it started happening more and more. And that's how this felt. It's like, yeah, Ed Gein did it, and then John Wayne Gacy did it. And when John Wayne Gacy did it, he was like really popular for it. Like, everybody knew about him doing it. He had comics and shit. And then here comes Jeffrey Dahmer, the most popular of all of them. And then guess what happened after him? Ted Bundy, even more, well, I don't know if he's after him, but even more popular. Like, they romanticize these people almost for the crazy shit they did. So yeah, that's why I say, like, come on, man, y'all gotta do a better job of putting out stuff and letting people know, no, don't do this. Don't put it out and be like, man, he's a good guy. Like, you have to understand, at the end of the day, yes, he did bad stuff, but he had a bad childhood, and people weren't friends with him. So you got to understand where he's coming. No. And I'm glad that judge was like, burn his brain, because there's no explanation for people like him. I'm glad the judge said that, because there's not. You can't find an explanation for why somebody would dismember people, eat their hearts. The one person he actually loved, kill him, have him land in your bed for days, eat his heart, save people's skulls and bags, and he even had the urge to go and dig up a body out of the ground, because he saw a video of the guy on TV and was like, that dude is beautiful, I want to go dig up his body. Like, what the fuck? This nigga's fucking nuts, man. He is straight up fucking nuts. And but for my last dislike, I won't even call this a dislike. I'll just have to say, they kind of portrayed it like to a point. It's like, I really don't know how to put this, so I think I'm gonna just keep it to myself. I'll keep my last point to myself and just say, yeah, this is a good show. I watched it in like 3 or 4 days, so yeah, it sounds like I kind of hated the show. I didn't. It brought a lot of feelings out of me, though. It really brought out a lot of emotions out of me, where I was like, fuck that dude. And fuck the creators of this show for like making them the way they did. But if y'all got any comments, leave them in the bottom. If you agree with me, leave a comment saying why. If you disagree with me, please leave a comment telling me why. And other than that, hit the like button so this video can get out to more people. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. It's growing a little bit again, and my social medias are kind of popping off a little bit. So I'm gonna leave them in the description. So if y'all like to follow me on any social media, it'll be in the description. And if y'all don't want to do any of that, and you don't give a shit about nothing I just said, suck it easy.